until we called certain demons out of her. When we were done praying the prayer of salvation, then we called more out of her. But certain ones had to go before she could even pray. But they had not all gone. If that's a little contrary to you, it's because when you give your heart to the Lord, you give your heart to the Lord. The flesh can still be occupied if you gave them permission to come in your life to do different things. Epilepsy, there's no argument about it. That's how Jesus delivered it. And all the diamantin and phenobarb in the world will just feed the demon. I've seen hundreds. I feel for epileptics because I went through years of epilepsy, and I know the feeling, the embarrassment of the seizure and everything. And I've never had, my brain waves shows I'm still an epileptic. I guess if somebody had cancer and the Lord had did a miraculous thing and they still saw the cancer under the scope, but they weren't dying, I don't know. But I have the brainwave test and the brain scans both show I'm still an epileptic, but I don't have a seizure and I don't take the medicine. I really feel that the injury that was done to me was physical, but the demon causes the convulsion. Okay? That's my own experience as an epileptic. Yes. I can only give you the names of
the question. Okay. Who are the names of the other people on the Council 13?
Okay. I can only give you the ones that were on it, plus the girl who replaced me. There has been much assassination. There is a war going on in the occult right now between the traditionalists and the modernists. It's funny, we just argue between traditionalists and modernists there. But the traditionalists and the modernists there, this is why I keep getting invitations to come back and join, because I was one of the traditionalist leaders, and they thought that I got out because the traditionalist was losing or something. They didn't start losing until I left. But this is why they want Forkin's son in. He is the leader of the traditionalists. But the leader of the Grand Council, as it stands about a week ago, is Gavin Frost. He's leader of the modernists, the evangelicals of the group, the ones who say everybody can be a witch. On it, the girl who took my place is Yvonne Collins, or Legina is her name. Now, many names I'll give you are witch names, okay? Because I don't know their real names. That's the law in witchcraft. If they don't choose to tell you, you can't ask. And even the council don't know the other council members' correct names from it. Jessie Bell, who lives in Florida, is named Lady Sheba. Sybil Leak, Dr. Raymond Buckland, who used to lead it. Lorca is still on the council. Louise Hubner from Los Angeles is on the council. Zorla from Chicago is on the council. I think the others that were on it at the time are off. Mrs. Morgan from New York and Lavina from France are still on the council. The others, I think, have either been killed or resigned or what, and others have been placed in their place. Yeah. The traditionalists believe... Go ahead. Sorry. I keep forgetting.
You clarify the distinction between the traditional and the modernist.
The traditionalist witch believes you must be a hereditary witch, okay? That means you must be born into a family just before, a hereditary line. The modernists want everybody, particularly the Christians, most of all, to be witches, okay?
Question, can you tell us about UFOs?
And my sister's connection, there's a story that Jack Chick had told each person 3 years ago that I had told him. My sister, before my wife came around, used to be leader of the state of Ohio, the high priestess there of the whole state. And her little pastime was calling up, supposedly filling the sky with UFOs and watching everybody's excitement. And some of the most outstanding sightings were in the early 70s in Ohio. And she used to laugh about it because she'd be standing in a circle out in the field somewhere calling up demons. And that's all they were angels of light playing games in the sky. Remember, a demon, get the little spooky picture. There are a fallen angel, an unclean spirit. They can assume any form or go into anything except a Christian who walks in the Spirit all the time. Know any? Or in other words, a Christian who keeps it under the blood and so on. But they can assume forms, including spacemen or solid objects like flying saucers or so on. That's why when they appear on the radar scope and a jet gets up there, they vanish right in front of the pilot's eyes because they're nothing but a spirit.
Tom Rose, and you're saying the words possession, obsession, and affliction, and then how it relates to a Christian.
Well, let's trade the words around a little. Possession, oppression, and depression, okay? Let's use those instead of the affliction, okay? Possession means absolutely total ownership. You've seen one of the few. I've seen 4 or 5 cases in my whole life of possession, and the young lady that we prayed for at the end of the service was one of those that was possessed. That's how many in 5 years, and I have sat in or been part of close to 1,000 deliverances. You don't see very many cases of possession. Possession means that person doesn't breathe, eat, talk, say anything that the devil does not allow them to do that's inside of them. Maybe you've seen them if you've tried to get somebody to pray and they've actually wanted to pray the prayer of salvation, but they can't get it out. That's possession. Son of Sam, possession. John Todd 5 years ago, possession. Charles Manson, possession. Let me explain. You notice Legion was possessed. The girl in the 16th chapter was possessed. You notice what they did? They wanted help. Do you know what they did? They went and they challenged God. The most they could do was fall down before him and get the minister's attention. I'd been in meetings where they couldn't ask for deliverance because the Spirit wouldn't let them. But they could create a commotion by resisting the devil. What they would do was they'd start thinking they wanted free, and the devil would start manifesting, and that would draw the attention of the minister to them. But most of the possessed people are possessed not so much because the demons are possessing them, but they're possessing the demons. I mean, most of the cases I meet as demonic activity do not want to give up the spirit. Remember how much you fought to give up particular spirits in your life you just did not want to give. She did not want to turn them loose because she liked them. That may seem unusual to you, but it goes on. Think of the man who likes chasing women. He doesn't want to give up the demon of lust because he doesn't want to give up chasing the women. Okay? Now, possession is impossible for a Christian. Don't let anybody ever tell you that a Christian is possessed. That's an absolute lie of the devil. The next step is oppression. That is where the Christian can come. Possession resides in the spirit or the heart of man. Oppression resides in the soul or the mind of man. Obsession resides in the flesh or the body of man. Okay? That would be the best way. Depression is outside. It's tormenting spirits from the outside. Unless it's a demon of depression, and then it's inside. But usually depression can be just you not depending enough upon the Lord, so you're allowing the devil to depress you. I'm very funny. I don't allow any in between. I'm not a fence straddler. It's either God or it's the devil. There isn't any in between. And that's the Lord's own words. You're either with him or you're against him. Okay? That's the definitions of them.
Would you give some examples of how witchcraft and occultism are used in advertising?
Yeah. The Inquirer. I get Pentecostals and Charismatics upset because I call Catherine Kuhlman a witch. They want proof. The Inquirer, anybody an article is done on faith healing or supernatural power in the Inquirer must appear in person before the Council of the Grand Druids. How many know about Kuhlman's article several years ago in the Inquirer? You don't get in there without top approval from the board. All right? That settles it right there. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know how you feel. Next, you've got symbols, okay? Without going into a long sermon on symbols, witches and Masons identify their ownership of things to the others by their symbols. How many go in? Witches must do each 8 things to perfect themselves. It's 6,000 years old. 2 of them, one is drugs, one is alcohol, and one is immoral sex. That's 3 right there. All right? Without even going on any further. That's one symbol. There's symbols all over the thing. The holy year to the Illuminati is their birth date, May 1st, 1976. 76. Anybody recognize that on a sign somewhere? Another beautiful one is Montgomery Ward's and Mobil are one company. Mobil belongs to a company that owns Standard Oil, Exxon, and all of them. It's probably 40% of the money that comes to the Illuminati comes to that system of companies. So, naturally, those are going to be built up and protected more than others. And what can I tell you? I met a PR man recently who told me he is the public relations man for the new Star Wars sequel. He's a homosexual. He told me there's not one star that's a major star in the new movie that has not gone to bed with homosexuals in order to get the part. He